What if I told you that the very chair you're sitting on right now could be draining the life out of your body? That every hour you spend behind a desk in your car or glued to a screen quietly shuts down the same system that once made you feel powerful, confident, and alive? I've seen it again and again, men who think they're just getting older, when in reality, their lifestyle is slowly cutting off the circulation and nerve signals that keep their bodies vibrant. Over the years, I've listened to countless men whisper the same confession. They used to wake up full of energy, full of drive, and now something feels off. The spark is dimmer reactions, slower confidence fading. Most of them blame stress, age, or hormones. But when I look closer, it always comes back to one silent habit hours of sitting day after day. See, the male body was never built to stay folded into a chair all day. When you do, the muscles in the pelvic floor start to shut down the vital nerves that control blood flow, and sensitivity get compressed, and oxygen supply to that area drops dramatically. It's like taking a strong river and damming it off until it becomes a stagnant pond. That's why so many men feel disconnected, not just physically, but emotionally, because when blood flow slows, so does everything that makes you feel alive, focused, and confident. But here's the good news. The body has an incredible ability to recover. Once you learn how to wake those systems up again, the change is undeniable, and that's what I want to share with you today. 7 quick science-based 30-second habits that can reignite circulation, nerve activity, and stamina naturally without pills or awkward conversations. Because the problem isn't that your body's broken, it's just been asleep for too long. You might think sitting is harmless. After all, everyone does it. But in my clinic, I've seen what really happens inside the body of a man who spends 8, 10, even 12 hours in a chair. It's like watching a strong river slowly dry into a cracked stream. At first, there's no pain, no symptom. Then one day, the signal between the brain and the body starts to fade. The response that once came instantly now takes longer. And when that connection weakens, confidence is the first thing to disappear. See, most people don't realize this. When you sit too long, you literally compress the pudendal nerve, the one responsible for sensation and erections. Think of it as the body's main power line. When it's pinched, energy can't flow. At the same time, blood vessels in the pelvis lose pressure. Less blood means less oxygen, and less oxygen means weaker performance. Studies have shown that men who sit more than 8 hours a day can have up to 40% lower pelvic blood flow than those who move regularly. 40%, that's not small. That's the difference between feeling alive and feeling disconnected. And it's not just nerves or blood flow. The pelvic floor muscles, the foundation that supports everything down there, begin to switch off. They get lazy, like a muscle that's been left unused for years. The result? Poor circulation, slower response time, and eventually frustration, both physical and emotional. I've had patients who thought they were losing their masculinity when in truth they were losing circulation. One of them, a long-distance truck driver, told me, "Doc, it's like my body just forgot how to work." But within weeks of retraining those muscles and nerves, his strength and his confidence started coming back. Because here's what's truly remarkable. The same mechanism that causes the problem can become part of the cure. When you start to move, even in tiny, intentional ways, blood begins to rush back and nerves begin to wake up and energy starts flowing again. And that's where the real transformation begins. Because once you understand this hidden system, you can turn your chair from the problem into part of the solution. But what if I told you there's a way to do exactly that without even leaving your seat? That's why I tell every man who walks into my office, don't throw out your chair. Transform it. Because the same spot that's been silently killing your circulation can actually become your recovery zone. You just need the right tool. And that's where the E3 cushion comes in. Now, before you roll your eyes at the idea of a cushion, hear me out. This isn't a gimmick. It's based on biomechanics, the way your body responds to pressure and movement. When you sit on a surface that has gentle micro shifts, your pelvic floor muscles are forced to engage, stabilize, and contract. That subtle movement reactivates blood flow, stimulates the pudendal nerve, and rebuilds the connection between your brain and your body, all while you're simply sitting there answering emails or driving to work. I've seen incredible results from men who were completely desk-bound. One patient, a 55-year-old software engineer, told me that after 2 weeks of using the cushion for just a few hours a day, he started waking up with stronger morning reactions, something he hadn't experienced in years. Why? Because movement, even micro movement, sends oxygen-rich blood rushing back into the area, restoring vitality, cell by cell. Science backs it up too. Research from the Journal of Physical Therapy Science shows that activating the pelvic floor through seated micromotion can increase circulation by up to 25% in under 5 minutes. That's faster than most medications start working. So instead of sitting passively, you're turning every minute in your chair into an investment, a quiet workout for your manhood. And the best part, you don't need a gym, a doctor's appointment, or even privacy. Just a few seconds of pressure and release. That's all it takes to remind your body how to stay alive down there. But here's what's fascinating. This simple tool is just the beginning. Because once you reawaken the nerves and circulation, the next step is to release the tension that's been blocking them for years. And believe it or not, the way to do that involves nothing more than a tennis ball and 30 seconds of courage. Once blood begins to flow again, the next step is releasing what's been trapping it, the invisible tension buried deep inside the pelvic floor. Because if blood is the fuel, then the nerves are the wires. And many of those wires have been pinched for years without anyone realizing it. That's why I teach something deceptively simple but incredibly effective, the tennis ball technique. I know it sounds strange, a tennis ball and men's performance don't usually appear in the same sentence, but stay with me. The space between the testicles and the anus, called the perineum, is like the body's control hub for sexual function. Running right through it is the pudendal nerve, the very one that gets compressed every hour you sit. When you gently place a tennis ball beneath that area and slowly rock your weight on it, you're doing more than a massage. You're freeing a nerve that controls both sensation and response. I've guided hundreds of patients through this technique, and the results still surprise them. One man, a 48-year-old accountant, told me he felt a spark the first time, not pain, but awareness. Within weeks, he reported better control, stronger sensations, and less numbness. What was really happening? He was retraining the brain to talk to his body again. Science backs it up. Studies in the Journal of Neurophysiology show that gentle pressure on the perineal region can stimulate nerve regeneration and improve blood vessel elasticity. That means every 30-second session helps the body rebuild its own wiring. It's not magic, it's biology in motion. And the beauty of it, you can do it discreetly, anytime, anywhere. No special device, no awkward conversation, just one tennis ball, 30 seconds, and a little patience. As the muscles release and the nerves start firing again, most men describe an unmistakable lightness, a sense that everything below the belt finally feels alive again. But improving blood and nerve flow is only half of the equation. To make those results last, you have to teach your body how to stay in that on state, even when you're not moving. And surprisingly, the secret starts with something you already do every day: your breath. Now that you've released those hidden nerves, it's time to feed them. Because the strongest erections don't start in the bedroom, they start in your bloodstream. And one of the fastest ways to supercharge that blood flow doesn't come from a pill or a supplement, it comes from your nose. Deep nasal breathing might sound too simple to matter, but it's one of the most powerful natural boosters of nitric oxide, the molecule your body uses to expand blood vessels and deliver oxygen where it's needed most. When you inhale slowly through your nose, nitric oxide is released from the sinus cavities into your lungs, then carried through your bloodstream, relaxing arteries, improving circulation, and creating that perfect pressure that fuels performance. I've seen this change men's lives in ways they never expected. One of my patients, a 60-year-old teacher who'd struggled for years, started a simple 4-4-6 breathing routine every morning. Inhale for 4 seconds, hold for 4, exhale for 6. Within 2 weeks, he told me his energy felt steadier, his sleep deeper, and yes, his morning confidence was back. There was no miracle drug, just oxygen, and a body finally doing what it was built to do. Studies from the American Journal of Cardiology show that regular nasal breathing can raise nitric oxide levels by up to 200%, improving endothelial function. That's the layer of cells that control blood vessel flexibility. It's literally the same pathway used by common erectile medications, but achieved naturally, safely, and for free. And the best part, you can do it anywhere, sitting in traffic, walking to lunch, even before bed. Every slow, mindful breath is like flipping a switch inside your arteries, telling them, open up, flow freely, feed life back into me. Most men underestimate breathing because it feels too easy, but in physiology, the easy things are often the most powerful. Still, there's one more surprising switch that can spark desire and testosterone at the same time, and it doesn't come from movement or breathing. It starts in the mind with a single message that can change how your body reacts within seconds. Most men think desire starts in the body, but it actually starts in the brain. The moment you feel anticipation, your body releases dopamine, the same chemical that drives focus, motivation, and pleasure. And the fastest way to spark it: a single text. I call it the connection message. It's not the kind of awkward, overconfident text that gets ignored. It's the kind that triggers curiosity and chemistry, short, unexpected, emotionally charged. Something like, I can't stop thinking about that look you gave me this morning. Simple but powerful. Because when your brain starts imagining, your body follows instantly. There's science behind this. A study from the Journal of Sexual Medicine found that anticipation, not the act itself, boosts testosterone by up to 45% in men. Just one brief mental spark sends signals through the hypothalamus-pituitary-gonadal axis, telling the body to produce more testosterone and nitric oxide. That's the same hormonal chain reaction triggered during exercise, only faster. I've seen this work for countless couples. One of my patients, married for 20 years, told me he started texting his wife little messages during the day, playful, romantic, sometimes just appreciative. Within weeks, he noticed a shift, more laughter, more touch, and yes, stronger physical responses. He said, it's like my body remembered how to get excited again. That's because foreplay doesn't start in the bedroom, it starts in your thoughts. Every message, every spark of imagination retrains the brain to link emotional closeness with physical arousal. And when that connection rebuilds everything else, blood flow, stamina, sensitivity starts to align naturally. So if you've been feeling disconnected, start small. Send a message that makes you feel something. Let your mind do the warming up before your body joins in. And as dopamine rises and testosterone follows, there's one more habit that can double your staying power in just seconds. A tiny routine most men have never even heard of, but once they do, they never forget it. When it comes to lasting power, most men focus on the wrong muscles. They train their arms, their abs, their chest, but forget the one system that decides how long they stay in control. And the secret to training, it doesn't come from the gym. It comes from the bathroom. It's called the double voiding technique, and it's one of the simplest, most overlooked habits that can instantly improve stamina. Here's how it works. After you finish urinating, wait a few seconds, then try to go again. That second, smaller release helps empty the bladder completely and, more importantly, relaxes the pelvic nerves that control the ejaculatory reflex. When those nerves are tight, they trigger early release. When they're calm and balanced, they give you control. Think of it like tuning an instrument. The tension has to be just right. I first learned about this from a urologic study that found men who practiced double voiding before intimacy had a significant increase in performance duration and comfort. The science is simple. By fully emptying the bladder, you reduce internal pressure on the prostate and the pelvic nerve network. That pressure is what often causes that rushed feeling like your body's ready before you are. One of my patients, a 52-year-old musician, told me he used to dread intimacy because he couldn't control the timing. Once he started double voiding just twice a day, morning and night, the difference was night and day. He said, "It's like my body finally stopped working against me." And the best part, it's a habit you can build today. No tools, no time, no awkward exercises, just awareness and a few extra seconds that give your nervous system the signal to slow down and stay steady. But once you've mastered control, there's still one thing left that ties everything together, something that works while you're sleeping. Because no matter how much progress you make during the day, the way you breathe at night can either build or break everything you've just worked for. You can fix your habits during the day, but real transformation happens while you sleep. Because at night, your body either restores its power or silently drains it. And the difference often comes down to one small detail: how you breathe. Most men sleep with their mouths open, and they have no idea what it's doing to them. Mouth breathing at night lowers oxygen levels, increases blood pressure, and stops nitric oxide production, the same molecule that fuels blood flow energy and morning confidence. Without it, men wake up tired, foggy, and disconnected from the very system that drives vitality. That's why I recommend something simple but game-changing: mouth taping. It sounds strange, I know, but it's one of the most effective ways to retrain your body to breathe the way it was designed to, through the nose. When you gently tape your lips before bed, you encourage nasal breathing all night long, which boosts nitric oxide, keeps oxygen steady, and restores natural hormonal rhythm. One of my patients, a 58-year-old executive, started doing this after years of restless sleep and constant fatigue. Within a week, he noticed his mornings felt completely different, more energy, clearer focus, and the return of what he thought was gone for good. He didn't change his diet, his workouts, or his supplements. He just changed the way he breathed. Research from the European Journal of Applied Physiology found that nasal breathing during sleep can increase nitric oxide levels by up to 150%, improving endothelial function and lowering blood pressure, two critical factors for long-term male performance and cardiovascular health. It's one of those tiny habits that delivers massive results. Just a small piece of tape, 8 hours of rest, and your body starts rebuilding itself from the inside out. And once your nights begin fueling your mornings again, the final step is about motion, reconnecting movement, oxygen, and nerve flow together. Because everything we've built so far, blood, nerves, hormones, confidence, comes alive when the body moves like it was designed to. When you wake up with energy, again, that's your cue to move, because nothing keeps blood flow alive like motion. Every nerve, every vessel, every bit of your confidence depends on one thing: circulation. But you don't need a gym or a workout plan to make it happen. You just need 30 seconds and your hips. I call it the hip rock, a simple move that looks almost too easy to matter, but it's one of the most powerful ways to wake up your sacroiliac joints and reactivate the pelvic network that controls blood flow, stability, and endurance. You can do it standing or sitting, hands on your hips. Then gently rock side to side, front to back, and in slow circles, almost like a lazy hula hoop. That subtle motion opens up arteries, releases the lower spine, and sends oxygen surging into the pelvis. I've seen even my most sedentary patients feel the change within days. One man, a retired truck driver who used to spend 10 hours a day behind the wheel, started doing this before bed and again each morning. After a week, he said, "It's like my body's waking up from a long sleep." His back loosened, his energy rose, and his confidence followed. The reason it works is simple. Your pelvis is the crossroad of your entire circulatory system. When it moves, everything else flows. Better blood hormones, energy. When it stiffens, everything slows. It's the same reason that even light stretching can lower blood pressure and raise nitric oxide. Studies from the Journal of Applied Physiology show that rhythmic pelvic motion can increase localized blood flow by up to 30% within minutes. And the beauty is you can do it anywhere while brushing your teeth, waiting for your coffee, or even during a break at work. It's not exercise, it's activation. By this point, your body isn't just improving, it's reawakening. The nerves are firing again. Circulation is alive and confidence is rebuilding from the inside out. And that's the moment where the real transformation begins, because when you connect all these habits together, you're not just fixing a symptom. You're reclaiming the man you were always meant to be. When you put all these habits together, movement, breathing, nerve, release, mindfulness, control, you're not just improving one area of your body. You're rebuilding a network that modern life quietly shut down. I call it the pelvic activation network, a system of muscles, nerves, and blood vessels that once fired together effortlessly, but now needs a reminder. Every time you sit for too long, that network powers down. But every time you use one of these 30-second hacks, it lights back up again. The E3 cushion reawakens circulation, the tennis ball frees the pudendal nerve. Nasal breathing floods your blood with nitric oxide. The connection message reignites dopamine and testosterone. Double voiding gives you control. Mouth taping heals you while you sleep. And the hip rock, that simple 30-second move, ties it all together, keeping your pelvic engine alive. I've watched men of all ages experience this reset, from exhausted executives to truck drivers to grandfathers who thought their best years were behind them. One of them told me, "For the first time in a decade, I feel like my body belongs to me again." That's the power of reconnecting systems that were never meant to be disconnected in the first place. Science confirms it too. When blood flow, nerve signaling, and hormonal balance are restored in sync, the body responds dramatically. Faster recovery, stronger performance, and sharper mental clarity. It's not a coincidence that men who practice these habits also report higher focus, lower stress, and deeper sleep. It's all connected, one living network. The truth is, you were never broken. You were just out of tune. And now you have the tools to tune yourself back naturally without pills, shame, or fear. Because When you understand how your body truly works, confidence isn't something you chase anymore. It becomes something you feel. And if you've made it this far, it means you're ready to stop surviving and start reclaiming your power. The next part is where it all comes full circle when you take everything you've learned and use it to wake your body, your mind, and your confidence every single day. Let's bring it home. Every man I've helped has the same moment, that quiet second, when he realizes this isn't about chasing youth, it's about reclaiming life. When blood begins to flow again, when the body responds, when the mind stops worrying and starts trusting itself, that's not just recovery, it's rebirth. I've watched men walk into my clinic hunched from exhaustion and doubt, then leave weeks later standing taller, laughing, easier, more present with their partners, their families themselves. And it never starts with a pill or a machine. It starts with understanding how power really works inside the human body, how something as simple as breath movement and awareness can flip a biological switch no prescription ever could. Because these 7 habits aren't random tricks. They're the foundation of male vitality. They reactivate the pelvic activation network, the system that keeps circulation alive, nerves responsive, and hormones balanced. Every 30-second practice is like sending an electric signal through that system saying, wake up, you still work, you're still strong. Science keeps confirming what nature already knows. Men who move more, breathe deeper, and manage stress through mindful routines show 50% higher nitric oxide levels, healthier arteries, and a stronger cardiac function. These aren't abstract numbers, they're proof that consistency beats chemistry. And that's why this message matters. Because right now, millions of men are sitting in silence believing something inside them is broken, when all that's really missing is flow. Flow of blood, of oxygen, of connection. And the moment you restore that, everything changes: your energy, your confidence, your relationships, even how you see yourself in the mirror each morning. So start today. Choose one habit: the breathing, the hip rock, the cushion, the message, and give it 30 seconds. Do it daily, not perfectly, just consistently, then watch what happens. Because the truth I've seen again and again is this: the male body never truly forgets how to perform. It just waits for you to remind it. And when you finally do, when you feel that first rush of energy, that first confident morning, again, you'll understand something powerful. Aging was never the end of your story. It was simply the pause before your comeback. That's the moment your body wakes up and your life begins again. So before you go, let me leave you with this. Everything we talked about today, the breathing, the movement, the micro habits, they're not just about stronger performance. They're about waking up the healthiest, most confident version of you. Because when a man's body and mind start working together again, everything changes: his energy, his focus, his relationships, even how he sees himself in the mirror. And if no one's told you this lately, let me be the first. You're not too late, you're not too far gone, and you're not broken. Your body is designed to heal. It just needs the right signals. Start small, stay consistent. 30 seconds a day is all it takes to begin your comeback. If you found even one thing in this video that spoke to you, don't let it fade away. Save this video and come back to it anytime you need a reminder of what your body is capable of. And if you want more science-based, judgment-free guidance on men's health and sexual vitality, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Turn on the notification bell because I release new medical insights every week to help you stay informed, strong, and confident at any age. Now, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these simple habits are you going to start today? Leave a comment below and share your experience. I personally read through every comment because your progress truly matters. So take a deep breath, take control, and remember, Your health, your strength, and your confidence start with one small choice today. I'll see you in the next video. Stay healthy, stay powerful, and take care of yourself.